friends, it's Hannah from Handmade by Design, and I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm going to be making one of my favorite spring DIYs. I fell in love with this bunny the second that I saw it online. It's on sale for $107, but I think that we can do much better than that with a dupe. I picked up this absolutely adorable bunny sign at the thrift store for $1.49, and the bunny was perfect for a template to make a copy of the bunny that was online. I used foam board and I used a Boxwood mat. I used a pen. A hot glue gun, green paint and black paint, just enough to make really dark green paint, a pair of scissors, and I purchased the square Boxwood mats at Oriental Traders for $29.50. They're 20 by 20. So they were about $15 each. So to begin with, I had to undo the welcome sign from my bunny in order to use it as a template. So I very carefully undid all of the wires. I wanted to save them because they're rusted and they look rustic and they're perfect. They go with the sign absolutely perfectly. So as you can see, I had a little bit of a hard time, but I wanted to keep those wires. And there we go. Now I have my bunny all ready to use as a template. So I lay the bunny down on top of the foam board, and because the ears were metal on the bunny, I just drew a bunny ear that resembled the one in the inspiration piece, and cut it out and measured it against the bunny's head just to make sure that it was the right size, so I could use that for my template as well to make 2 ears. And there you go. That looks good to me. So using a pen, I folded the metal ears back, and then I outlined the entire bunny. I outlined one ear, and then I moved the ear over just a little bit to add another ear on top of the bunny's head. And then I went around the rest of the bunny and finished outlining it. And once it was completely outlined, I cut the bunny out of the foam board. I just used regular scissors to cut it out, and I didn't have any problems cutting out the bunny. I mixed green paint. I think this is apple green paint with black paint, and I painted the entire bunny. Even though the mat is very thick, I wanted to make sure that absolutely no white would show through any of the mat after I was finished making it, and that is why I painted the foam board the dark green color. Once the paint was dry, I turned the mat over so that I could see where I was cutting, and I used a pair of snips, but actually this mat was so easy to cut. You could have used a pair of child's scissors to cut through this mat. It was that easy and that fast to cut through this mat. I couldn't believe how fast and easy it was once I started cutting the mat. It took me probably less than 5 minutes to cut the entire mat around the bunny. I just lifted the entire mat where I had cut it off of the bunny, and I realized that once I turned it over, I had only painted one side of the bunny, so I needed to paint the second side of the bunny. So I painted the second side of the bunny, and once the paint was dry on the second side of the bunny, I placed the mat onto the foam board bunny, and I looked at it from the front and from the back, and it was just a perfect fit. Next, I glued large areas of the bunny on the foam board, and I just pressed down on the mat, and it's amazing. It stuck so well. It is not coming apart. That mat stuck right to the foam board just perfectly. I couldn't have hoped for it to be any easier. I took my wire snips and I went around the edges of the bunny and I snipped off any strays so that it would have a nice uniform look and look very much like our inspiration bunny. And that just took me a few minutes to do. I went around with the snips and just evened everything out. Here is our bunny, all nice and trimmed, looking absolutely gorgeous. And this was so easy to do. I can't believe it. The next thing I have to do is just add the ribbon. So I took harlequin ribbon, black and white harlequin ribbon, and I didn't measure it. I just measured it according to the bunny's neck. And I did the ribbon a little bit differently than they did on the Inspiration Bunny because the Inspiration Bunny has carrots on it. And to me, it definitely looked like an Easter bunny. And I want mine to look like a spring bunny so that she's not just here for Easter, she's here for the spring. I made 4 loops on this ribbon, all the same size. And this ribbon you have to twist as you make it because the print is only on one side, so you have to twist the ribbon so that the nice print stays on the outside. I cut some wire and I wired the ribbon together tightly in the center. I fluff out the ribbon and I make sure that the bows are all the same size, and there's 4 bows and they're all directly across from each other. And once I'm happy with the way that the bow looks, and the bow should look like this. There you go. I hot glue the bow to the neck of the bunny. Once the glue is dry, I use a bunch of flowers that are so pretty. They're peonies and roses, and I purchased them from Shein for $2 and some odd cents per bunch. And the bunches of these flowers are pretty full, and the quality of these flowers is absolutely beautiful. So I add the flowers to the left side of the bow and to the right side of the bow. And in the center of the bow, I decide to add some of the little pips or the little berries that are on the bunch. So I gather 3 or 4 little bunches of berries and I snip them off the bush and I glue them all together and I place all of the berries on the inside of the harlequin ribbon. I hot glue those into the center of the ribbon. I used some long grass that I had in a floral arrangement in another basket, and I just took a few out and I cut them down to size and hot glued them in the center and placed them underneath the flowers on both sides of the bunny because it reminded me of the tops of the carrots that were coming out of the inspiration piece, and I thought that they added so much to the arrangement. As I studied the piece, I thought it was missing something. So I added 4 pieces of black and white ribbon, and all I did was I cut the ribbon all down to the same size, and they're the same size as the black and white harlequin ribbon. And I pinched them in the center, hot glued them right in the center, and then I glued them in between each of the loops of the harlequin ribbon. Once I place all of the 4 black and white ribbons in between the harlequin ribbons, I'm 100% happy with the way this bunny turned out. And by the way, it cost about $17 in total to make this bunny. So, and the other bunny was on sale for $107, 25% off. So actually, we saved about $100 making the bunny ourselves. Finding the boxwood mats from Oriental Trading Company made all the difference in the world. I'm just finishing adding the polka dot ribbon to the harlequin ribbon, and this project is complete. And here she is. I so enjoyed making this project for you, and I hope it inspires you to make something beautiful. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you'll be notified the next time that I make a project. And until then, I'll see you next time.